Good morning. Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study entitled Kings and Emperors. And we're going to be talking about Herod Antipas today, who doesn't fit either description. He was neither truly legally allowed to wear the title king, and he certainly wasn't an emperor of anything, but he was a ruler. He was not a ruler of Judea, but he does play an enormous role in the Gospels and also in Roman history as well. Plays something of a role in Roman history. A lot of the children of the Herods are raised in Rome. That part of that is Roman policy, but part of it is also to maintain ties and to have your children receive a Roman education alongside other of the ruling class in the Roman Empire, so that they can be thought of as peers, as people that you've known all along, not as bumpkins from the provinces. But Rome liked to have the children of its vassal kings raised in Rome, in royal households. Augustus's own sister basically had a nursery of young rulers around the world that grew up in her home. And it was almost a hostage situation. If you have someone's children in your care, they're doing boarding school, in your town, and you have custody of them, and you are in loco parentis. You have something that you can hold over this ruler if he becomes unruly. And Herod Antipas was in that category, and he was very close to Emperor Tiberius, who was emperor when Jesus was crucified. But he was not a good ruler, and he was not permitted to rule in Judea. He had Galilee and Perea. Galilee north, where Jesus grew up, and then Perea, which is on the east side of the Jordan River across from Judea. And there's a bit of an overlap in terms of the boundaries of those areas. Right, the Jordan River separates them in a small area. So he had a contiguous kingdom, but it kind of wrapped around Judea, and he had built a huge prison there, a fortress of Machaerus, and it is the fortress of Machaerus where he imprisoned John the Baptist and beheaded John the Baptist. He features in the Bible account because he does arrest John the Baptist, although he has a great deal of belief, superstitious belief, no doubt, but belief that John is a prophet and has a great deal of fear about John. But John is imprisoned when he publicly calls out the royal couple for their incestuous and adulterous relationship, because he married Herodias, who was his sister-in-law, and she was also his niece. And anyway, that's what happened. He married her. She preferred to be with. He had much more power, and she preferred to be with him. We see the dynamic of their relationship, the way she literally pimps out her own daughter to dance for Herod Antipas and to get him to offer her anything she wanted. And of course, she requests John the Baptist's head on a platter, and he has to give it to her, even though he doesn't want to execute John the Baptist because he's made this promise. He's also the Herod who tries Jesus. He comes to Jerusalem for Passover because he is a Jew. It's expected. We talked last time about how the source of the Herodian side of this family was in no way Jewish. It was Edomite and Arabic, but their mothers were Jews, and therefore matrilineally they are as well. And so he had to be seen being something of an observant Jew if he's going to maintain order and have an easier life of it as a martinet within the Roman Empire. So he does. And while he's there, because Jesus is from Galilee, Pilate, remember, in a bid to absolve himself of responsibility for Jesus, sends Jesus to Herod. Herod's afraid, fascinated, but ultimately disappointed in their meeting because he was hoping to see a miracle performed, and a miracle was not performed. Usually, when you see a movie or a television show that portrays Herod, he's usually portrayed as something of a fop. I don't know that he was that. He was certainly a vain man and a ruthless man, and not the measure of his father in terms of being able to navigate the corridors of power and really exercise power for large building programs. Although he did build the city of Tiberias and named it after his patron, the Emperor Tiberius, and he built Sepphoris, both of them important cities. Tiberias, the city on the Sea of Galilee, which got the Sea of Galilee renamed, and it's called in Luke's Gospel the Sea of Tiberias. Anyway, this is what happened to him at the end. Later on, this isn't in the Bible. He was accused by his nephew and brother-in-law, Herodias' brother, King Agrippa I, who also was in the New Testament. He was accused of plotting treason against Caligula. And of course, as you can imagine, the Emperor Caligula would not have taken this lightly. And so he was exiled to Gaul and disappears to history. So he's probably off. Did he ever reach Gaul? I don't know. But he was probably smothered or stabbed or poisoned on the way. Okay. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. When we're together next time, we're going to talk about King Herod Agrippa I. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.